Okay, this is my top 10 overland routes in the U.S. Now, as you dissect and critique my list, please remember this is a list for an overlander as opposed to an off-roader. So at number 1, I have the Dalton Highway in Alaska. Now, if you're here listening to me, it's highly likely you've heard of the Dalton Highway. This mostly gravel road in northern Alaska stretches 414 miles from Living Good to Dead Horse. It was originally built as a service road for the pipeline and is still considered one of the most dangerous roads in the U.S. But that's mainly because there's a lack of services and cell phone reception. But you get a big payoff for heading this direction. There's opportunities to see some of the most spectacular wilderness in the country, traversing the Brooks Range and crossing the Yukon River en route to the Arctic Ocean. Side note here, if you're heading to Alaska, a bonus is to take the Dempster Highway through the Yukon and Northwest Territories of Canada. The Dempster Highway is a bucket list trail in itself. So it's 465 miles point to point. And it's mainly non-technical, gravel, dirt, but you need to plan well due to the long distances between fuel stops. It ends just shy of the Arctic Ocean in Inuvik, Northwest Territories, and is the gateway to an otherwise untouched swath of mountainous tundra. Drive it and you'll cross the Continental Divide 3 times, the Arctic Circle, and 2 mountain ranges. Now, let's go back to our list. At number 2, I have the Alpine Loop Scenic Byway. The Alpine Loop starts in Silverton, Colorado, and it's 63 miles through the heart of the San Juan Mountains, nestled between the highways of 550 and State Route 149. The route is closed during the winter, and the high alpine environments of Engineer and Cinnamon Passes, which are both over 200 feet, require a high clearance 4-wheel drive vehicle. The entire loop takes about 4 to 6 hours, and you'll pass abandoned mining towns along the way, and along with plenty of opportunities for hiking and camping. There are more challenging routes in the area, like the Black Bear Pass, but if you're looking for a mid-length, overland route with spectacular mountain views in the Rockies, this is your trail. At number 3, we have the Mojave Road in the Mojave National Preserve. It's 138 miles point to point, and it'll take you 2 to 5 days. You follow the historic route that was used first by native people and later by westward bound settlers. It bisects the Mojave National Preserve in California's southeastern desert. And unlike many other legacy trade routes, the Mojave Road was never paved over. So a trip here is a trip back in time. While the road is mostly non-technical, there's a couple of areas along the route where people do get into trouble, and you should have a vehicle that's outfitted with skid plates for the rougher sections of the road to be safe. To avoid the extreme temperatures in summer and winter, plan for spring or fall. If you're not familiar with the terrain, check with park officials for current conditions, and keep an eye on the weather, as monsoons can quickly turn normally dry lakes into impassable mud bogs. Having a satellite communicator like a Garmin inReach or a Midland Micro Mobile radio is a good idea on this route too, not just for the communication, but also for weather forecasts and alerts. At number 4, I have the White Rim Road in Canyonlands National Park. Now, this classic route explores Canyonlands National Parks in the stunning Island in the Sky District, which is an otherworldly landscape carved by 3 rivers. You have to the east the mighty Colorado River, to the west there's the Snake and Green River, and to the south is their confluence. It's only moderately difficult, and I recommend doing it in a high clearance vehicle equipped with true low range gearing, a big help when descending some of the steeper sections of the trail. And please grab an overnight permit from Park Service and break the route into as many as 4 days. More days means more opportunities to camp in some of the 10 incredible campgrounds that line the 110-mile road. But please, keep an eye on the weather. Parts of the White Rim become impassable when wet. Now at number 5, I have the Trans-America Trail. It goes from Tennessee to Oregon. Now, first of all, there's not many 5,000-mile routes on the planet, let alone one that's 92% dirt roads. The Transamerica Trail crosses the entire U.S. from Virginia all the way to Oregon on dirt roads and two-track. It's the rare route you can still drive coast to coast almost entirely off pavement. It was originally pieced together by dual sport motorcycle riders, but it can be done in a four-wheel just as well. With several variations and spurs to choose from, the route skirts or takes you straight through some of the country's most beautiful gems, including the Great Smoky Mountain National Park, Great Sand Dunes National Park, Arches National Park, and Yellowstone National Park. But the route's biggest charms are in all the in-between areas. The large, empty, winding roads through rural countrysides and lush forests. Now, everyone I know has had navigation issues with this one, so I advise having paper maps and several different GPX files to ensure you not only stay on the route, but have options if something comes up. At number 6, I have the Trans-Wisconsin Adventure Trail. The Overland version of the Trans-Wisconsin Trail has become increasingly popular in the last couple of years. It was originally designed for dual sport and adventure bikes. The route is 600 to 630 miles long and consists of paved roads, gravel roads, and dirt and sand forest roads. The route starts on the Wisconsin-Illinois border just north of Galena, Illinois, and ends at Lake Superior near the town of Cornucopia. It's approximately 50% pavement, 40% gravel roads, and 10% dirt sand forest roads. It works its way north via scenic backroads to the Lake Superior shore. In the south portion, principally uses winding and rolling paved roads that take in some of the outstanding scenery along the Mississippi River and the Driftless region in southwest Wisconsin. And as you work your way north, you'll find yourself on mostly gravel and dirt roads and paths that guide you through the wondrous sights and scenes of the northern forest. The route is on all public roads, so any street legal vehicle is an option to do this. You do need a vehicle that has decent ground clearance, but four-wheel drive isn't usually needed. Although it's handy, it's a really nice scenic drive with a lot of options to keep you and your passengers entertained. Next, at number 7, I have the Colorado Backcountry Discovery Route. Now, if getting high is your thing, Colorado offers some of the tallest mountains passable by motorized vehicles in the U.S. Several passes are over 12,000 feet, and beginning in the Four Corners location, where Colorado, Arizona, New Mexico, and Utah intersect, this route winds its way north through the Rocky Mountains to the Wyoming border. The terrain includes dirt roads with rocks, sand, and even a few water crossings to keep it exciting. The route is designed to be ridden on adventure and dual sport bikes, but this one also can be driven by 4x4 vehicles. And many of the roads are in remote areas and reach high elevation areas where road maintenance is minimal or non-existent. So you can expect to cover sections of road with deep ruts, loose rocks, sand, and other challenges. There's also sections that have deep sand. Road conditions change from week to week based on recent weather. When you see signs that read roads may be impassable when wet, please use caution. You may also encounter sections that have trees or branches over the road, but there are alternate, easier routes around a few of the most challenging sections. Depending on the time of year and weather, there may be a few small, deep water crossings. Flash floods are frequent during summer storms. Don't cross flooded washes. Wait until the water subsides. The best time of year for this is July through September. Most of the route can be done in late June. And depending on the snowpack, you might not make it through some high passes until sometime in July. At number 8, I have the Idaho Backcountry Discovery Route. Now, if you ever want to ride an endless, twisty, mountainous road, the Idaho BDR will throw corners at you for days on end. It's a true off-the-grid ride at 1,250 miles long. Starting in the historic town of Jarbidge, Nevada, The route crosses rangelands and then heads into the Boise National Forest and treats you to views of Anderson Reservoir and epic alpine camping at Trinity Lakes. Tiny towns and treasures like Bergdorf Hot Springs make this a bucket list for sure. You'll travel where Lewis and Clark made history and experience the legendary Magruder Corridor and Lolo Motorway, which skirt the roadless Selway Bitterroot Wilderness. You'll reach modest hints of civilization as you pass through Sandpoint and Bonnie's Ferry on your way to the Canadian border. I think the best time of year is July through October for this. Late June can be nice if the snow has melted from the high passes, and you need to watch out for early snow and hunters if you're going in the fall. I have it number 9, Smoky Mountain Highway. Now, it's not technical, but you are remote enough on this 78-mile dirt road from Page, Arizona to Escalante, Utah, that you need to come prepared. With that said, with a full tank of fuel and a full-size spare, a stock 4x4 can navigate this route through the heart of the Grand Staircase National Monument in about 6 hours. But the plentiful dispersed camping along the way will keep you there longer, most likely. This is another place I recommend to bring along a satellite communicator. Now, at number 10, we have the Washington Backcountry Discovery Route. Now, this 575-mile route, it thoroughly explores the Cascade Mountains, beginning in Stevenson, Washington at the Bridge of the Gods and making it to the Canadian border at Nighthawk. Views of the massive volcanic mountains from the dense forest in the southern part of the route are stunning, and the open arid pine forest of the central part of the route, it showcases the diversity of Washington. The route just seems to get better and better each day as you head north into the high mountain areas beyond Lake Chelan. It takes most people about 5 to 7 days to complete the route, and there are some easy alternate sections to get around the difficult stretches. There are many great camp spots along the way for those looking to rough it, and the route also works well for those looking to stay in hotels or to do a little bit of both. I think the best time of year is June through September. Snow in the mountain passes can block riders from completing the route early and late in the season, so that's why I say that, and that's pretty standard. Well, that's my list. What do you think? Share your list. Let's talk about it.